Your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching Yes.
One last game in this series at the Trop, and the New York Yankees will be looking to head home with a victory as they face the Tampa Bay Rays in a Sunday matinee in St. Petersburg, Florida. Hope you're having a great day. Welcome to the FanDuel Yankees pregame. Bob Lorenz and Jack Curry with you. Final game of this series. Yanks looking to ditch that four-game skid and get back on the winning track. Let's look at our key matchup brought to you by Montefiore Einstein, the official hospital of the New York Yankees. And the stark difference between Yankees pitching and offense. The starters this season, a 2.50 ERA, best in the majors, but the offense over the last four, batting just 142, just 6 extra base hits. No slug, not a lot of runs, not a lot of hits. What's your Hyundai opening comment?
Yeah, it's safe to say that the Yankees are aching for offense, Bob. It's been a challenge for them to string hits together and to score runs. You mentioned those 9 runs in the last 4 games. They also have a .202 batting average through their first 14 games. That's the second worst in history. First worst was in 1968. So more than ever, that Yankee offense needs to produce today. You go back to the end of last night's game, we saw some better at-bats from the Yankees, especially from Jose Caballero. But Aaron Boone also likes some of the contact the Yankees are making throughout the game. They need to have 9 innings of solid at-bats, get a win against the Rays, get themselves back home.
We'll talk more about that here, but right now, let's by the way, get it out to the Tropicana Field for the Clubhouse Report, brought to you by your local Ford stores. And Meredith, let's talk about that lineup today. And Aaron Boone just switching things up a little bit.
Well, Bob, they're going to be without a big hitter in the lineup in Giancarlo Stanton, but that was expected. Aaron Boone said all along that he was going to give him one of the games this series off. Now, I asked Boone whether or not it was a full day off or if he would be available off the bench, and he said no, he's a player. He'll be available late in the game should the Yankees need him in a scenario. Now, without him DHing, it's going to be Aaron Judge DHing, and Randall Grichuk is out there in right field. J.C. Escara is behind the plate, so Austin Wells will be available off the bench. Also, the batting order a little different without Giancarlo Stanton in it. You're going to see Aaron Judge batting third, Ben Rice batting second. I asked Aaron Boone why he decided to go with the order the way he did this afternoon.
Just with the 3 righties in there and Giancarlo being one of the ones out, just spacing out the guys a little bit, and yeah, feel like kind of makes runs smoothly this way.
Had you planned on giving Wells the day, or is there something up there?
Yeah, no, this was a day. Yeah.
With Schlittler, when you look at his first 3 starts, the fact that he has not walked a batter, what does that say about how he's feeling on the mound and his command right now?
Yeah, it's one of the things that has always been one of his calling cards. And then over the last couple of years, obviously, we've seen the huge tick up in velocity and stuff. So, even last year, I remember talking about even some of his walks last year weren't a result of not being a really good strike throw. It was just some long at-bats where he would nibble a little bit, and I just think you're seeing a more finished product that has that ability to fill up the strike zone, and now he has the stuff to back it up to where he knows he can, not have to always live on the edges either.
He's really gone to the fastball, the variations of the fastball, mostly to start off this season. This team over here hits pretty well, 95 or above. Do you think we might see more secondary stuff at all today?
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, look, he's always going to feature the fastball, and those variations are going to be his big strength. But he has the ability to spin the ball and slow you down as well when he needs to. So whatever the game calls for, we'll guide him through that way.
And last time out, Cam Schlittler gave up runs for the first time this season. The Yankees did manage a win in that one. Schlittler went 5 innings, allowed 3 runs, struck out 7 in the process, and did not walk a batter. That is actually the last time the Yankees picked up a W. It has been a rough stretch for them as of late. One bright spot has been Schlittler. 22 strikeouts, 0 walks on the season, 106 strikeouts in his young Yankee career. The Yankees are hoping that he goes out there and sets the tone run this afternoon. But pitching really has not been the issue. It's been inconsistent offense. As you mentioned, Jack, we saw it last night from Jose Caballero coming up with 2 big hits, a 2-run double there in the 8th to give the Yankees a 3-2 lead. And then it looked like he was going to be the hero again in the top of the 10th inning, driving in a run with the single, giving the Yankees the lead. But as we know, it was not to be. And really, what a brutal way to lose a game. David Bednar actually throwing the ball pretty well. They did not get a ball out of the infield. A bunch of bunts, and then this play right there, they brought in an extra infielder in Cody Bellinger. You see Jazz kind of bobble it a little bit there. You don't know if he fields that cleanly, if he's able to get Diaz running there or not. It would be a tough play any way you slice it. But there was some confusion from Jazz in the postgame when he was asked about that play, and some people were taken aback. So Jazz was asked about that last night, and Aaron Boone responded today.
I don't know what the rule is if I went to first base first and threw it back to second if it's still an out. Is it still a double play? I don't know. Does it count as not an RBI?
No, they'll score.
They'll still score?
He'll get there before the tie occurs at second.
Well, it was what I was trying to do in my mind probably wouldn't have worked anyway.
He's not confused on it. I think that's his, kind of that default answer when he's got guys in front of him or whatever. Look, it turns out to be a tough play. You asked about kind of watching it back. There might have been a chance to where he could, if he gets it cleanly, he gets the tag off. It's hard to know how exactly Diaz reacts in that moment. So, once it chops like that, it's obviously going to be a tough one to turn the normal 4-6-3. Yeah.
So he says, I don't know the rule, and Grissom explained it. You think he did know? You think he does know the rule?
I think he knows the rule, yes.
And Aaron Boone did go on to say that he had a conversation with Jazz Chisholm Jr. not only about that play, but his comments in the postgame as well. It's time now for the injury report brought to you by Morgan & Morgan. We saw Anthony Volpe throughout the course of this series hanging out in the Yankees dugout. He said the thing that he has missed the most is being around the guys and that camaraderie, not to mention, of course, being out there at shortstop as we saw him earlier today taking some grounders. He's set to see team doctor Christopher Ahmad tomorrow. As long as he gets the A-OK, he will then go out on a rehab assignment with the Somerset Patriots. Exactly how many games at-bats he'll need, and speaking with Brian Cashman the other day, he said a typical spring training is about 55 at-bats, but a lot of it, guys, is going to depend on how he is feeling, how he is building up. But in speaking with Anthony Volpe in the clubhouse, he just said he feels so much better. It doesn't feel for him like he's going through the rehab process. His body feels good. For him, it's more like he's going through a spring training right now. There's no doubt in his mind whether that shoulder is okay. He said he checked some early boxes in defensively, diving for balls and knowing that that shoulder wasn't going to be an issue. And also in the cage and in the batter's box facing some live pitching, check swinging and knowing his shoulder is not going to pop out is something that has now given him peace of mind. He's not worried about that at all. It's just about building himself up and then coming back up here and joining the Yankees once he is able to do so. So that rehab assignment will start with the Somerset Patriots most likely this upcoming week, Bob.
Thank you, Meredith. Appreciate it. Have a great day, and we'll see you in just a bit with Michael and Joe. Want to remind you all season long here on Yes, we invite you viewers to show us the different ways you support the Bronx Bombers. Use the QR code on screen with the hashtag Toyota Pinstripe Pride and post pictures to social media that reflect your love for the Yankees. We might spotlight you in a future game. Pinstripe Pride is brought to you by Toyota, the official hybrid vehicles of the Yankees. Well, just getting started on the FanDuel Yankees pregame, where the Yankees will be looking to jumpstart the offense after what has been a long, cold, lonely, cold stretch. Coming up, we'll talk about what's been going on with the Bombers' bats, so keep it here on Yes and the Gotham Sports app.
The Yankees pregame show on Yes is brought to you in part by FanDuel. Live bet the long ball with multiple profit boosts on live home run bets every Sunday. Just another reason why FanDuel is the home of home runs. The Yankees pregame show on Yes is brought to you in part by your local Hyundai dealers. There's never been a better time to test drive that Hyundai you've always wanted. Visit your local Hyundai dealer today.
It is time for the pregame odds segment presented by FanDuel. For a same-game parlay, how about the Yankees money line, Aaron Judge and Cody Bellinger to each record 2 total bases, and Ben Rice to drive in a run. That comes in at plus 1071. Hey Yankees fans, FanDuel is inviting you to step up to the plate. Live bet the long ball with multiple profit boosts on live home run bets every Sunday. Just another reason why FanDuel is the home of home runs. Download FanDuel now to play your game.
Let's take a look at the Yankees lineup brought to you by Toyota. Again, the Yanks looking to up production. 2 of 12 with runners in scoring position last night. 12 left on base. Judge gets the DH day. As a DH, he's a .297 hitter with a 1029 OPS. Randall Grichuk is out and right. Escara catching. Caballero knocking 3 of the Yankees' 4 runs last night. He was 2 for his last 2. That's a bright spot. One that isn't is Jazz Chisholm, who had that chop double last night, but also 1 for 5. And post-game, the number he was focused on was 50-degree launch angle, which is way too high for him to do any damage.
Yeah, talking about that launch angle, which is indicative of him getting under the ball, Bob. And if you look at his numbers so far this year, he's hitting more pop-ups than he did last year, and that's not where Jazz Chisholm wants to live. He wants to drive the ball. He wants to hit line drives. And if he's hitting fly balls, he wants to barrel those up. That is also something that he has not been doing this year. A lot of talk about his defense at the end of last night's game, the double play that he tried to turn, didn't turn, and then explained it in a confusing manner. But the Yankees need Jazz to produce. Bob, he talked about being a 50-50 guy in spring training, and I said, go for it. Have big goals. So far, no homers through 56 plate appearances.
Well, Michael and Joe talked about this last night, talking about that 50-degree launch angle, and is he trying to get to the 50-50 club by trying to create that launch, as opposed to, and tell me if this is a fair comparison, Ben Rice doesn't try to hit home runs, he tries to hit the ball hard, and sometimes they just go out.
Yeah, one of the voices I always have in my head from a hitting perspective is Paul O'Neill. I covered him, I wrote a book with him, and he would go up there looking for fastballs, would adjust to everything else, Bob, and he would try to hit line drives. His swing, and everyone's swing is different, although Bellinger and O'Neill are a comp for me. Paul would try and start out level, and then it would gradually increase into a little bit of the uppercut or the swings that we see that are so in fashion right now. I think for Jazz Chisholm, Bob, like a lot of these hitters, it's all about getting one game under your belt, then the second game, then the third game. Jazz is too talented to be hitting under 200 right now.
It says something that he's aware of the data on the launch angle, so see if he can correct that. Now, there are some things that are going on that are good. Yankees are still drawing walks and getting on base. Trent Grisham comes to mind, but still lacking that production. If you're on base, then the guy behind you has to knock you in.
Trent Grisham has some really weird stats attached to his name right now. 146 batting average, but yet a 352 on-base percentage. So to your point, Bob, he's going up there and showing a lot of discipline. He's seeing a lot of pitches. He's also hitting the ball at a hard hit rate that is 5th in the major leagues right now. A hard hit rate is anything over 95 miles an hour. So I have to think that Trent Grisham is probably frustrated. And when you see those numbers, that tells you that the offense is going to turn. One more thing about the Yankees and showing their discipline. They've got 40 strikeouts on called strikes this year, Bob. That leads the major leagues. You want to be disciplined, but if something is close enough to swing, as you and I heard in Little League, you got to make sure you do some damage. That's a lot of called third strikes.
Well, you know who's good at that? Haven't seen it as much. Cody Bellinger. That two-strike approach, but we haven't seen as much of it so far.
Haven't seen as much of it, although Bellinger had a good game offensively and defensively last night. I do think the Yankees are working through some offensive woes right now. James Rowson said this to Meredith yesterday in her pregame interview with him. If you had this sort of 4 or 5 game spell during a season, it might not be as noticeable. But we have to evaluate and analyze the numbers that are in front of us. And the numbers in front of us tell us that the Yankee offense has wildly underachieved.
Let's talk about the guy they're facing today, Drew Rasmussen. Good career numbers against the Yankees. We take a look at his arsenal, courtesy of StatCast 3D, powered by Google Cloud. And, Jack, fair to say that this is more of a traditional pitcher that they're used to facing, with the cutter, four-seamer, and sinker featured, as opposed to so many change-ups over the last 3.
That is fair to say. You see that the change-up is part of his arsenal, but the 2 pitches he throws the most, almost 70% of the time this year, are fastballs. And that cutter has been deadly, Bob. That is a pitch you're going to see him feature a lot. and he has ridiculously good numbers against the Yankees in his career, an ERA of slightly more than 1. So he's used to facing them, used to doing well against them. Key for the Yankees, get some traffic on the bases early, put some pressure on Rasmussen, and give Schlittler a little breathing room.
There have been a few individuals with success against him, but not really as a team. You mentioned that, a 1.19 ERA. What about Aaron Judge? He's 1 for 11 against him with 7 strikeouts. So Rasmussen kind of has his number right now.
Yeah, that would tell you that it's trending in Aaron Judge's favor, right? Because how often is Aaron Judge 1 for 11 against anyone? You look at Judge's numbers so far this year, Bob, a couple of things that stand out. Hitting more ground balls than he normally does and not walking as much as he has in the past. But I always look back at 2024, and Joe Girardi referenced this last night. Judge got off to a slow start in 2024 and then ended up winning the MVP. And that was 27 games where he struggled. It's only been a couple of weeks. And I also agree with what Girardi said last night about Judge looking like he's getting really close in terms of fouling off some pitches that he's probably really close to pulverizing.
Let's take another break here on the FanDuel Yankees pregame. Coming up next, we'll tell you what to expect from Cam Schlittler as he toes the slab at the Trop this afternoon. Stick around.
Hey, Yankee fans, I'm News 12 meteorologist Mike Latella with your game day forecast. Well, the Yanks are down in Tampa taking on the Rays. Game time temperature about 82 degrees as we kick off the game at about 1:40 this afternoon. By the 7th inning, we're talking about 85 degrees, a little bit on the toasty side, and pretty warm for the end of the game with temperatures about 86 degrees. Moodcast-wise, I'm calling it comfy. 84 degrees, not that humid, at least for Florida standards. Hey, what's your moodcast? Let us know right here on News 12 The Bronx.
Mike, thank you. Let's take a look at the Rays lineup that will face Cam Schlittler. It is brought to you courtesy of Toyota. Rays went 5 for 7 with runners in scoring position last night. Jonathan Aranda with his second career walk-off. Both have come against the Yankees. Taylor Walls in that game, 2 hits, an RBI, and a run. He is also 2 for 2 off Cam Schlittler. And Yandy Diaz, the opposite of that off Cam, 0 for 5 with 4 strikeouts. So let's talk about what Schlittler features, and he has more than 3 pitches, but he is heavy on the 3.
Over 90% fastballs, Bob, and we're going to show you why. Look at the movement on that sinker. It's got arm side movement to the right-handed batter. One more look at that pitch. Well, what do you want to do to complement that or counter that? You want a cutter that's got glove side movement. You want to deceive hitters. They won't know what's coming. You see that one moving in glove side as well. And then his trusty 4-seam fastball. This one's got ride up in the zone. I'm going to keep that up there because I don't think you can hit it. It's interesting that the Rays have had success this year against pitches 95 or better. They actually have a Major League Best .323 batting average. But I'm of the belief if it's not broken, don't fix it. I expect Schlittler to still throw a ton of fastballs.
StatCast 3D powered by Google Cloud shows you what Cam Schlittler offers. And yes, there is a curveball there, but he rarely uses it. Again, I was thinking the same thing. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Go to those 3 pitches, dominate hitters. And what he does, Jack, too, keeps it in the zone. 22 strikeouts, 0 walks.
Yeah, that is a strikeout to walk ratio that any pitcher in Major League history would be proud of. Now, he might have to add a wrinkle today. The Rays are a pesky team, but he has done that, Bob. You mentioned he hasn't thrown the curve a ton, but I go back to his start against the Giants in Game 2, his first start of the season. There was a lefty batter at the plate. I believe it was Lee, and so many fastballs had been thrown in previous at-bats. He got the 2 strikes on Lee to a curveball right under his hands, got the swing and miss. So I think Schlittler is savvy enough to know that if there is a situation that calls for him to stray away from his fastball, he will. But I'm still expecting a ton of fastballs.
One final break on the FanDuel Yankees pregame still to come. We're going to get Jack's key to the game for the series finale between the Yanks and Rays. That is next on Yes and the Gotham Sports app.
The Yankees pregame show on Yes is brought to you in part by Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com.
Good to have you back on the pregame as we take a look at the bullpen budget. Though 3 relievers pitched last night, Tim Hill just 1 pitch. But got to think everybody's in play after Cam Schlittler today.
All hands on deck, Bob. I think the Yankees will turn to anyone in that bullpen tonight. It's game 15 of the season. Yankees need a win. They'd love to see Schlittler go deep in this game, but I think that Boone and Blake believe that everyone is in play tonight. One interesting thing to me about Bednar yesterday, he gave up the 2 bunt singles and an infield single. Threw 13 pitches, Bob. 6 of those were curveballs, 3 splitters, 4 fastballs. So mixing it up the best he could in that inning, but didn't go his way.
Let's get your key. How do the Yanks get back on the winning track?
Key, Bob, is get up, stand up. And I'm talking about the Yankee batters. Get into the box, stand tall, and do what you can to help the Yankees win a game. Baseball is a team sport, but it's played by individuals. And each individual has to do his part to help a team win. Yankees need to have a succession of good at-bats against Rasmussen, get the offense going early.
Heavy at-bats, make him work. We'll find out if they can do that after a break. It's Out to the Trop. Michael Kay and Joe Girardi with the call. Meredith Marakovitz reporting, and she will join us on the postgame. Have a terrific afternoon and enjoy the ball game coming up next on Yes and the Gotham Sports app.
Attention, please, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching Yes.
It's a lovely Sunday afternoon here in St. Pete, and it is time for baseball. As the Yes Network presents the Hyundai Sunday Game of the Week. It's the New York Yankees against the Tampa Bay Rays in the final game of a 3-game set from Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, Florida. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Yankees Baseball, along with Joe Girardi. I'm Michael Kay. Yankees lost their 4th straight game last night. Now, the offense stirred just a little bit, but not enough to get the win. Now, they'll try to stop this losing streak with a guy who's been awesome so far, and that's Cam Schlittler.
Yeah, since last August, Michael, he's been as good as anyone in baseball. And he really does it with his fastball. He'll cut it, he'll sink it, but he's got a fantastic four-seamer. People are swinging and missing it. 49% of the time, he really knows how to elevate it. He uses it to his advantage. And Michael, he's another guy that could stop this streak.
And if you look at the numbers, the ones that really jump out, 22 strikeouts without a walk. Without a walk, opponents hitting 140 against him in his 3 starts. Now, one of the guys he's going to have to deal with is Chandler Simpson. He's a distinct major league talent. There's really nobody like him. He's not a great defender. He doesn't hit for any kind of power whatsoever. But boy, is he an irritant.
He has an elite tool in its speed, and it was on full display last night as he disrupted this game completely at the end. He pinch ran in the 8th, and he scores on this ball hit by Yandy Diaz to Ben Rice easily, not even a play at home. Then he comes in the 10th with a runner on second. He bunts, a little bobble. Now it's a base hit instead of being an out. Then he's going to steal second, and this is easy. He's putting so much pressure on the Yankees defense because of his speed. And guess who scores the winning run? Chandler Simpson. No play at home. The speed is elite, and he's been an outstanding player for the Rays so far this year.
Well, with that speed, he has a .385 batting average, leading the American League. He has 9 infield hits, more than anybody, and he has 6 stolen bases. He is something else. Well, Jose Caballero is back where the Yankees got him from. He's been struggling, but not last night. His bat came alive in the late innings. 2 huge hits. Meredith Marakovitz talks about that and more next, right here on Yes.
Welcome back to Tropicana Field for Yankees baseball on Yes. Series finale between the Yankees and the Rays set to get underway in just a little bit. Hey, everyone, I'm Meredith Marakovitz. Jose Caballero was just 1 for his last 29 heading into that 8th inning at bat where he managed a 2-run double, giving the Yankees a 3-2 lead at the time. Then in the 10th, he came up big again with an RBI single, once again giving the Yankees the lead before the Rays ultimately came back and walked it off. Caballero spoke in the clubhouse after the game where I asked him what changed about his approach heading into that 8th inning.
Just being in the moment, just simplify everything and just try to put a good swing on the ball instead of just thinking of anything else, and the result got there. It's great for my confidence, and to any hitter, whenever you're struggling and the hits come, it's a breath for whoever is struggling at the moment.
Plenty more to come here on the Yes Network. When we get back, Michael Kay will be joined by Joe Girardi. First pitch coming your way after the break.
We're the Science College softball team, and here's your Yankees Sunday lineup. Leading off and playing center field, number 12, Trent Grisham. Batting second and playing first base, number 22, Ben Rice. Batting third as a designated hitter, number 99, Aaron Judge. Number 99. Batting fourth in left field, number 35, Cody Bellinger. Batting fifth at second base, number 13, Jazz Chisholm Jr. Batting sixth, playing right field, number 34, Randall Pritchett. Batting seventh and catching, number 25, J.C. Escara. Batting eighth, playing third base, number 19, Ryan McMahon. Batting ninth and playing shortstop, number 72, Jose Caballero. Go Yankees and go Bears!
Oh, great stuff. Thank you very much for doing that. And so now you have the Yankee lineup that will be facing Drew Rasmussen. The Rays have taken the field. Rasmussen taking his warm-ups.
Well, outstanding stuff, Michael. You see the low ERA in 10 innings pitch. He's only made 2 starts so far this year, but let's take a look at the Nissan Pitchers Scouting Report. He's only made those 2 starts because there's a new baby on the board. He and his wife Stevie had their second child on Tuesday, which was his day to pitch, and they have a little girl now. Training wheels are off, Michael. Last year he only threw over 90 pitches, 91 or 92 twice. He's already went 89. He's had a number of elbow injuries. Tommy John in 16, Tommy John in 17, the internal brace in 23. So they held him back a little bit last year, but now they're letting him go and cut it out. He's got one of the best cutters. I think it's truly a slider in the game. Hitters hit 169 last year, only 2 for 16 so far this year.
All right, so the Yankees trying to salvage the final game of this 3-game set. Grisham's ready. Rasmussen is ready. And let's do it. Here at the Trop, first pitch is a strike. We're underway. Dan Bellino, the home plate umpire. Steve Jashinsky at first. Mike Ripperger at second. And Shane Livensbarger is over third. A lot of consonants there, Joe.
Well, I was just telling you, it's got to be the hardest 3 names in one group to say.
They would get people to fail constantly on Wheel of Fortune, this umpiring crew. I'd like to buy a clue. The 1-1. Lofted into right center field. Who's going to get there? And it's Palacios to make the play. Check out the whole Rays defense brought to you by your local Tri-State Genesis retailers. Simpson, Mullins, and Fraley left to right in the outfield. Caminero, Walls, Palacios, we just saw him, and Aranda at first. Fiducia behind the plate, and Yandy Diaz the DH with Drew Rasmussen on the mound. So Dan Bellino is the home plate umpire. And we'll take a look deeper into the umpire scouting report brought to you by your local Kia dealers. He is considered pitcher friendly. He's had 15 calls challenged, 10 have been overturned, more low strikes, more inside strikes. He's the crew chief in his 19th big league season.
You know, I'm sure the hitters are saying these guys don't need any help. Rasmussen at 1.8 ERA. You look at Schlittler, he's got a 1.62. Not the kind of guy you want behind home plate on a day like today.
Now, Joe mentioned paternity leave, 10 days rest, but Kevin Cass said Drew is such a pro, he thinks this will be just a normal game for him despite having the 10 days off. As he strikes out Rice, 2 away.
But what you see is really simple mechanics. He's basically pitching out of the stretch all the time. He kind of came up as a reliever, and there's not a high leg kick. It's really directional towards home plate, and he keeps it simple. So you don't think like a guy like this, 10 days off is not going to hurt him.
So here's Aaron Judge batting third today with Rice moved up to the second spot. Stanton getting the day off pre-planned. 1-0. Judge 1 for 7 so far in this series, 11 for 52 on the season, hitting .212.
Michael, I thought his at-bats yesterday were the closest that we've seen to Aaron Judge, getting back to Aaron Judge. He lined out really hard to center. He fouled a number of balls off hard yesterday. And sometimes you just don't get pitches to hit like that. But he took a couple walks, you know, his last 2 at-bats. So it seemed like it's starting to click a little bit.
The 2-1. Broken bat, looper. Palacios will make the play, and the Yankees go down in order 1-2-3 against the Rays righty Rasmussen. Rays coming back. Yankees go down in order now. Cam Schlittler on the mound to face this Rays starting lineup. You've got Chandler Simpson with all that speed leading off, 50 stolen bases, 36 infield hits since the beginning of last season. Junior Camaro at third, Jonathan Aranda at first. The middle of the order is Diaz, Fraley, and Mullins, and the bottom of the order, Palacios, Walls, and Fiducia.
Schlittler's got off to an outstanding start. You see the low ERA, you see the no walks that Michael talked about, the opponent's batting average. But let's check out the Nissan's pitcher's scouting report. 8 is enough. Only 8 base runners in 3 games. That's the lowest whip of any pitcher in baseball. We meet again. This is the 3rd time that he has faced the Rays, and all 3 times he's matched up against Drew Rasmussen. The teams are 1-1 in those outings. Something's got to give. You know that Cam throws really hard, but the Rays are #1 versus 95-plus fastballs, a batting average of .323.
So here's Chandler Simpson. Pitches up and away. This guy came into the game as a pinch runner in the 8th inning and really changed the whole tone of the game. That's how much a difference maker he was yesterday. And there's just nobody like him in the big league, so I'm not sure that teams really know how to deal with him yet. Well, the closest comp would be Hamilton a couple years ago, but he tried to drive the ball. Simpson knows what he is.
To me, it's more like an Otis Nixon who tried to beat the ball on the ground. He hits the ball on the ground about 70% of the time. The infield has to play in. If you have to go to your left or right, there's a great chance that he is safe. His speed is unbelievable. And if you're Cam, I think you kind of want to do everything you can to get him to hit the ball in the air. He has 1 home run. It's an inside the park home run. There is not a lot of power in this swing, but if he hits it on the ground, again, he's probably going to be safe unless it's hit hard at something.
25 years old, 2nd-round pick out of Georgia Tech in 2022. And that's a base hit to center field. Hit that hard. So Grisham will get it in, and Simpson is off to the races. Now let's take a look at the Yankee defense, brought to you by your local Tri-State Genesis retailers. J.C. Escar gets the start behind the plate, and that leads us to the CarShield defensive player profile. So he's tied for 9th in framing runs since last year. He doesn't play all that much, and he's caught 250 innings, which is 66. So he's 9th in framing and 66th in innings caught. And the pitch to Caminero is a strike.
What a great place to hit if you're Junior Caminero. You got the guy at first that is obviously going to be a distraction to a lot of people on the field, and especially the pitcher. You might get a few more fastballs, and he can hit a fastball. This is a good spot to hit.
Up the middle and a base hit. Simpson doesn't even think about stopping. He'll go to third. Gets there standing. Throw comes into second. 1st and 3rd, and nobody out.
Yeah, I talked about this Rays team. They're very good offensively. In a 95-plus, they were leading baseball in batting average. And this is just a ground ball up the middle. And you talked about Simpson not even hesitating. Grisham didn't even think about throwing it to third. He just came up to it right to second base. No chance. That's something I wish I would have had, Michael. That's how you used to run when you were a kid, right?
Yeah, when, you know, Mr. Softy was there, sure. Here's Jonathan Aranda. 1st and 3rd, Yankees back for the double play. Now, one thing that's going to be interesting, Schlittler throws fastballs, and the Rays hit fastballs. They're a .323 batting average against pitches 95 miles an hour or more. That's best in the big leagues.
Yeah, they're really good. Young kids like the fastball, Michael. They don't like that stuff with wrinkles.
Dialed it up to 98.
And, Michael, because of that, I spoke to Aaron Boone and asked if we might see some more off-speed stuff from Cam Schlittler this afternoon. He said, look, his bread and butter is always going to be the fastball and the variations of it, but we have the utmost confidence in the way he's able to spin the ball. He can slow it down if he has to. The game is going to dictate what he does on the mound.
And that one is tipped into the glove, 98 miles an hour. He strikes out Aranda.
Yeah, this is an outstanding four-seamer that has really good right to it. And he swung at 3 pitches up there, so you know that he's not seeing it great. I don't even know if he swung at a strike in this at-bat. And he's been really productive so far in the series. Now you got to face Yandy Diaz. The thing about Simpson being at third, though, Michael, you don't have to worry about him no more.
Right.
If he's on second, you got to worry about him stealing third, so you can focus on pitching.
So here's Diaz. Soft ground ball. That'll get a run in. Jazz makes the play. First scoring is Simpson. Moving to second, Caminero. An RBI for Diaz is 14th. Tampa Bay's on the board, 1-0.
He's a contact hitter, and it was almost like he was trying to do that. He saw the hole between first and second, and he was trying to shoot it that way. And he goes that way very well. Ends up with an RBI because he doesn't hit it hard enough. That's happened a number of times to the Yankees, where the Rays have hit ground balls, but they have not been hit hard enough in the series to be double play balls.
Here's Jake Fraley. You know, the fact that we're telling you the Rays hit fastballs well, I always think of the story John Sterling used to tell about Steve Bedrosian when he was on the Braves and Joe Torre was the manager, and Joe Torre came out of the dugout and said, this guy's a good fastball hitter. And Bedrosian looked at him and said, it was a great fastball.
Yeah, well, Coney used to say, who's slider?
Right.
We'd say, he's a good slider hitter, breaking ball. Who's slider? Not my slider.
So 0-2 on Fraley. Swing and a miss. Wow, he dialed it up. So the Rays come away with 1. Play FanDuel's Daily Dingle for free every day for a chance at a profit boost if your selected player hits a home run. And here are the featured home run odds for today's players. Aaron Judge plus 400. Ben Rice plus 500. Here's Bellinger. Tell you what, Rasmussen really warmed up quickly because he stood on the mound and Bellinger stood outside the batter's box for 40 seconds because it was just too fast. High fly ball. Mullins puts it away.
Well, they talk about him being really efficient as a starting pitcher. That's one way, but he threw 11 pitches the first inning. I mean, he throws strikes, he commands the baseball, he'll introduce his curveball the second time through. He usually doesn't use it early in the game. It's a couple different fastballs, a changeup, and a cutter.
So in the bottom of the first, Joe, Schlittler threw 13 pitches. The first one was up, a ball to Simpson, and he threw 12 straight strikes after that.
Yeah, these are 2 strike-throwing gentlemen.
Hit sharply and past the lunging Aranda and into right field. Fraley will play it out there. Going to second with a double is Jazz Chisholm.
Last 3 at-bats, he's had 2 doubles. He had one last night as well, and this one he really smokes. And we've been talking about he's just been underneath the baseball. Well, he gets on top of this one. It's down in the zone. And this is in from Jazz. He smokes it by the first baseman for a double. Now you look at him to possibly steal third base. He's got 6 on the year. Make it a little bit easier for Grichuk to drive him in.
So here's Grichuk. He's looking for his first hit as a Yankees, 0 for 10. You know, he came up in the 9th inning yesterday, and Aaron Boone was asked after the game, did you think about pinch hitting Paul Goldschmidt? very, very honest. He said, yeah, maybe I should have.
Yeah, well, everything's, in hindsight, it's 40-40.
Better than 20.
That's right.
Wow.
You're doubly as smart if you make the decision after.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. Distract him a little bit because he's an outstanding pitcher.
Before the game, during BP, he couldn't hold up. We noticed that Paul Goldschmidt taking ground balls at third. So I checked it out with Boone. I said, is that maybe a plan? And he said, no, he takes ground balls every now and then. Third, short, and second, but no plan. But Goldschmidt's probably saying, how do I get into the lineup?
That reminds me, the one year we had Travis Hafner. Went on the road to play in spring training. He went out and took ground balls at first base. And I get home the next day, everyone wants to know, is he going to play first base? I saw him taking first ground ball. I'm like, no. He just does it because they're bored. Michael, there's been 1,011 pitchers that have had at least five starts versus the Yankees. Rasmussen has the lowest ERA of all time at 1.19 coming in today with 5+ starts.
And down goes Grichuk as he's 0 for 11 on the season. That brings up Vizcarra, also looking for his first base hit of the year. And that was right down the middle.
Yeah, it's almost like it surprises the hitters. It's sneaky.
JC 0 for 9. And a strike. Yankees are 8-6. 5 of the 6 losses have been by 1 run. The other one by 2 runs.
A 1-5 in 1-run game.
First time in Yankee history they've lost their first 5 1-run games. Did he go? No, he did not, said Livensbarger.
That's good and bad to me.
How so?
The good is you're in every game and you got a chance to win every game. The bad is you have not been able to get over the hump in those 1-run games yet. And it's usually one at bat that could make the difference.
Right in on the hands. And then when you look at the Yankee rotation with a 2.50 ERA, the best in baseball, you almost think kind of wasting that. But you said this yesterday, there are times that the offense is going to bail out.
It's going to flip. It's definitely going to flip.
Soft ground ball, second base. Palacios gets Vizcarra, and the Yankees strand a runner at second. We'll go to the bottom of the second. Yankees Baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by FanDuel. Live bet the long ball with multiple profit boosts on live home run bets every Sunday. By Nissan, hop into a Nissan Rogue and hit the road to adventure. Shop NissanUSA.com. And by Optimum Fiber, famously fast fiber internet. Meredith, with these mascots, it's a little disconcerting.
If it's disconcerting for you, how upsetting do you think this is for me, Michael?
I mean, the dust-up you had with Wally the Green Monster last year, it's not good.
Well, he brought out the photo of me telling Wally that he's not my type, and he asked, well, if he's not, are blue mascots your type? And I said, no, Philly fanatic for life, obviously. Wasn't happy, ripped up the picture.
Oh.
Hurt a little bit. 2 days ago, he tried to get down on one knee and give me his necklace. That was odd. Didn't fall for it, Michael.
Thank goodness the Yankees don't have a mascot.
Ain't that the truth? My goodness, could you imagine?
2-0 on Mullins. They used to have a mascot, Joe, well before you became a Yankee. A mascot called Dandy.
Dandy?
Yeah, it didn't work out.
He wasn't Dandy? So, how was he dressed?
Kind of like a red, white, and blue Philly fanatic. That sort of,
And how many years ago?
It was, I think it was maybe the second year that George Steinbrenner on the team. And then he brought the mascot along, and then he didn't like it and got rid of it. And I don't think he really caught on with the fans either. But you can look it up on the Google machine. Dandy. (3-1). 3-2 on Mullins.
Andy, he was around from 79 to 81, and he was 7 feet tall, pinstriped light bird. Hey, at least he was tall, right, Michael?
You do like height.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize it was the latest 79. Wow. 3-2. That one is lined into left center field. That is going to be a base hit. Splits the outfielders and goes all the way to the wall. Mullins at second. He's rounding second. He's going for 3. The throw, not in time and wide. And it's a leadoff triple for Mullins.
Well, we told you how they could hit the fastball, and Mullins gets his sinker down. If it's up, if he goes four-seamer up, he might have a better chance of getting him. It drives it in the gap, and it just stops against the wall. Grisham does everything he can to get it in, but Mullins is just too fast. This is a guy that was 30-30 in 2021, so there's a lot of speed there. He uses it on the base paths, and he uses it playing center field as well. And again, the Yankees are going to bring the infield in because they're struggling scoring runs and they're facing a tough competitor. But with Mullins, you have to field it cleanly. It has to be hit hard.
That's right to Caballero. He thought about coming home, but no. Goes to first. Mullins slides across home plate with the second run. And RBI for Palacios.
I think it's a real good decision by Caballero because he's not going to get him on this. I think it's going to be bang, bang. He's going to have to rush his throw, and you may end up having a runner on first with nobody out. Now you have 1 out and nobody on, but you're down 2-0. The Rays don't strike out. It's when they have a runner on third, there's a lot of pressure on the pitcher because they just don't strike out.
Here is Taylor Walls. Now, he's been a pest to the Yankees since 2022. He's the worst hitter in Major League Baseball batting average-wise at 193. But he has reached in 4 of 8 trips against the Yankees. And now it's 5 of 9.
Three, 4, 5 with an RBI and 3 runs scored. He has been a pest. And now you got to worry about him running as well. This is his cutter. He's trying to backdoor it and leaves it middle away, and it's an easy ball for him to hit out over the plate.
So here is Hunter Fiducia. And there goes Walls. Pitches high. Throw to second. And it gets by Caballero. Backing up is Jazz Chisholm. A stolen base for Walls.
Scar actually gets rid of this ball very quickly, but he gets underneath it. He kind of throws sidearm, and it leads to the sink. I really believe if he puts it on the bag, he's got a chance. But because it hits the dirt, Caballero's not able to come up with it. Now they have a runner in scoring position.
2-0 Rays. Runner at second, 1 man out. The number 9 hitter, Fiducia, at the plate.
You know, we always talk about when you're throwing as a catcher, getting the ball in the air. Get it in the air, get it in the air, because the ball is going to travel faster than your body in a sense. But it also has to be accurate. Accuracy is probably the most important thing when it comes to throwing, because if you're not accurate, you don't have a chance, no matter how quickly you get rid of it.
So you'd rather even be accurate if it's bounced than if it's a little wide on the line drive.
Well, I like it up the line towards first a little bit because they put the tag on it. But the one thing is, it's hard when you bounce it because they can't just slap the tag down.
So Schlittler steps off. So with these 2 runs, Schlittler's ERA has jumped to 2.50. Started the game with a 1.62. He's allowed 4 hits so far.
He had only given up 8 in the 3 previous.
Yep. High fly ball left field. Bellinger. Round number 2. If you were wondering what Dandy looks like, there's Dandy.
Meredith, what do you got on Dandy? Your type?
He's not the one, Joe. We're going to have to keep looking. We're going to have to keep looking.
He's probably pretty old right now, too.
So here's Chandler Simpson. Slap to left field. It's a base hit in front of Bellinger. He's going to come home with the throw. Here's Walls. Here's the play. Safe. RBI single for Simpson, and it's a 3-0 Rays lead.
As good as his cutter's been all year, it has hurt him today. It's another one that's up in the zone, and it's easy for Simpson just to slap it the other way, and that's what he likes to do, because if you hit it the other way on the ground, there's not a good chance of getting. Just hits this line drive, and Walls is just too quick. Bellinger makes an extremely accurate and strong throw, but it's the speed of the Rays that has been hurting the Yankees.
Here's Caminero. Up and away.
A little timing pick. Thing about that is Simpson's not one of those guys that hops around like Volpe, so you can't really, get him in the middle of a hop.
Swung on and tipped into the glove of Escar. The throw to second, not in time. The Yankees will decide whether or not to challenge, so a stolen base.
Just beat it. Scar got rid of that quickly. Accurate up the line towards first base that you want, so you can tag him in the feet. Jazz thought he had him, but he just got in there.
Did he go? Nope. Three 3-0 Tampa Bay. Bottom of the second inning. Two and two. Works from the first base side of the rubber. And the 2-2. Tied him up, and Caminero swings and misses. But the Rays scored 2 more runs on 3 hits. 1 man left on base. We go to the third. Well, score big on authentic gear at MLBshop.com. From official jerseys and memorabilia to hats and hoodies, we've got the season covered. Visit MLBshop.com/Yankees, the official source for your Yankees gear. Brian McMahon will take a strike to start off the third inning. Yankees down 3-0. Tries to bunt. 0-2.
I like that thought, but I'm not a big fan of doing it with 2 strikes or 1 strike, because then you leave yourself in a hole if it's foul. But Camaro's had a lot of problems on balls coming in. It's been the throws, not his glove, but the throws that he's bounced a lot of them to first.
McMahon 3 for 31, has yet to pick up an extra base hit. Had a hit yesterday. One and 2. McMahon, Caballero, and Grisham. 8, 9, and 1 in the Yankees order against Drew Rasmussen. And that's tipped into the glove of Fiducia. 1 away. Now in the second inning, Jazz Chisholm Jr. is on second base. And he is giving location. Didn't matter. But Drew Rasmussen did not like it, and he's yelling at Jazz. And Joe, I've got to ask you in the most innocent way, what right does he have to yell? I mean, that's not cheating.
Well, I think he's trying to protect his stuff, but it's Fiducia's job to move later, and with catching on one knee, it's harder to move later, and the Yankees are so obvious about it sometimes I think they're just messing with the pitcher. If you make your pitches, you're going to get people out. He doesn't have a right. Tell the catcher to move later, but they don't. See, we used to do something where we would slide in the slot, and we would almost slide when the ball was on his way. That's when we started to slide. Now they set up early, and it's easy. And you pick up tips. I've always said you can pick up pitches or location from catchers a lot of times easier than anybody else.
It just seems so odd. If you're not doing anything illegal, and it's kind of on you to protect the signals, the anger is misdirected. It shouldn't be on Jazz.
Well, yes and no. You're a competitor, right? And you want to win. So anything that you see that's out of the ordinary, you're going to snap at a lot of times. So I don't blame Rasmussen for doing it, and I don't blame Jazz for doing it either. But it's the competitiveness in him, and he wants to pitch well.
Just foul. I wonder, the Yankees seem, you kind of touched on it, so obvious at second base. And I don't know if they're doing that to rile up the pitcher, get under his skin, or it's just too obvious, and nobody wants to be embarrassed.
Well, it's not hard to get under pitcher's skin, because as soon as a guy that's a good pitcher gets hit hard, everyone says, is he tipping? Is he tipping? What's he giving away? And then it gets in the pitcher's head.
Caballero, long fly ball to center, drifting back Mullins, has plenty of room, 2 outs.
And it's probably not a bad idea to try to get in Rasmussen's head, because he's obviously very good, and he's saying something to Caballero here, and I'm not sure what he's saying. He's talking to the middle infielders on the other team.
Well, former teammate, maybe that had something to do with it.
He might be saying something about Jazz, too.
Back to the top of the order, and Trent Grisham. Grisham 6 hits and 42 at bats. Now 6 for 43 as Palacios makes the throw. And the Yankees go down in order. 1, 2, 3. We'll go to the bottom of the third. Time for Pinstripe Pride, brought to you by Toyota, the official hybrid vehicles of the Yankees. Today's picture is of Brian Jr., and Logan for the stadium last homestand. Plus, Grandpa Dominic is always watching on Yes. What's up, Grandpa Dom? Use the hashtag Toyota Pinstripe Pride and mention Yes in pictures you post to social media to reflect your love for the Bronx Bombers. And we might spotlight you in a future game, like we just did. Jonathan Aranda leads off the bottom of the third. Rays lead 3-0. Foul back.
Michael, let's talk about this a little bit more. Years ago, if they felt a guy in second was giving location, they'd either knock him down, or what they would do is they would set up outside and throw a pitch hard in. So, A, it would make the hitter doubtful that you knew what you were doing out there, and they would say, forget it, I don't want it. And two, it puts a little fear. Like, maybe we shouldn't do this. Be so obvious.
And they don't do that often now.
They don't do that anymore. We'll see if Rasmussen does something to Jazz as he comes to hit.
Swing and a miss. Aranda's been overpowered twice against Slittler. I remember our late colleague, Bobby Mercer, did not want signs relayed to him. He said, because if you get it wrong, I can get hit.
Yeah, a lot of guys don't like it. They just want to hit. But there's a lot of guys, you see the frustration by Aranda. I mean, maybe he's not one of the guys that's so good at 95 plus, but a lot of guys want it to. I would always want to know.
Diaz fouled it away.
Checking his bat. See the marks on the barrel. That one was a little bit more label.
You know, the first two games of the series, obviously at night, and that's a pitch clock violation on Slittler. So that'll be a ball. This is the first day game, Joe, and I'll tell you, this is much brighter than it was. Because there used to be 2 layers of Teflon on the roof. The new roof is just 1 layer of Teflon, and it's much brighter in here, and the lights are better, too.
I thought you were just going to tell me it's brighter because it's daytime.
Well, I'm sure that has a big thing to do with it. But it's
still always brighter during daytime.
But it's brighter than it was in the day before.
You know,
that makes sense.
Brian Anderson, their longtime announcer, said he's curious what it's going to sound like when it rains. It's going to be much louder than it was when it had 2 layers.
Two and two.
He was also telling me when they were putting it up, like each panel, there would be a blue net underneath it, and the guys would be working up there, and if they fell into the blue net. I'm like, not doing that job.
I read a story about a guy who came from Oklahoma to work on the crew to put on the roof, and it was extraordinarily difficult work because they're doing it in the summer. It's terribly, terribly hot. They were trying to be safe because of that net, but people were slipping. But they got it done.
And the other thing, you think about the pop-up storms here because of the humidity.
And the 3-2. And that, my friends, is the first walk issued by Slittler all year.
26 Ks before he walked the batter. Pretty amazing.
One 1-0 on Jake Fraley. You'll take that 26-to-1 ratio, though.
All day long.
Two 2-0.
You know, he hasn't thrown anything else besides a fastball. He's not thrown one curveball yet today. And I know his cutter sometimes acts like a slider. There it is, Michael, the first one.
And he gets a swing on it. Tried to hold up.
Now I would think he would just go 4-seamer up. Mr. Steinbrenner wanted to know if I could practice that.
Catching tips?
Yes. Because
how did you answer that?
I'm not going to try because I'm going to get killed, get beat up. But George was a perfectionist, and I appreciated that because he was so competitive. And to be on his teams was like, it was like he was in the room playing with you. He wanted to win every game. He expected perfection. He would give you everything that you needed, but it was like he was in there with you.
Strike 3. Fraley down looking. I remember Yogi in the clubhouse one time talking about catching foul tips on the bottom of the zone. And he said, have a really loose glove and it has a better chance of sticking in. That was the only thing.
He's right.
Yeah.
He's definitely right.
Here's Cedric Mullins. High fly ball, deep left. Bellinger back, still back on the track, makes the play in front of the wall for the final out. No runs, no hits, no errors, one man left. Let's go to the fourth. Well, fans, Yankee Games on Yes are streaming live on the Gotham Sports app, included for free with your eligible TV provider subscription. Download and sign into the Gotham Sports app now and check out all the great Yankees content, including game highlights, post-game sound, and much more. Ben Rice leads off the fourth inning. Yankees trail 3-0. 1-0.
That was not a sinker. I think that was a changeup. And this is when he usually starts to introduce his other stuff, his curveball. He tries to get through the lineup with a fastball and a cutter the first time. Helps him get through lineups the second and third time because they haven't seen everything.
Previous pitch is a ball. The catcher has challenged.
All right, so Fiducia challenges. ABS presented by T-Mobile.
Pitch is a strike. Tampa Bay has 2 challenges remaining.
Both teams still have their 2 challenges. Yankees started 10 of 11 successful in ABS. And in their last 10 games, they're 8 for 22.
You know, I know John Smoltz talked a lot about pitchers shouldn't challenge. You know, pitchers have not challenged nearly as much as hitters or catchers. They've only challenged like 2% of the time, 3%. But they have the same success rate as hitters, 47. Catchers, 62% success rate.
Strike 3. And Rice touched the top of his helmet. Now he's saying, I didn't challenge. He said, well, you touched the top of your helmet, so it's
Previous
a
pitch is a strike. The batter has challenged.
Rice didn't want to challenge, but he did touch the top of his helmet, and that's right down the middle.
Call is confirmed. New York has 1 challenge remaining.
So the Yankees lose that challenge, and if you watch right after strike 3, he touches his helmet.
Yeah, there was I think this is out of frustration.
Here's the designated hitter, Aaron Judge.
And once he called the strike, he hit challenge.
Yeah.
He thought it was ball 4.
Rice has been somewhat on the emotional scale when it comes to the challenges. And then you have Judge, who doesn't challenge that often.
Doesn't challenge enough, I don't think. He got called out on a strike 3 on one he wanted to challenge. And then since then, I think it's been out of frustration. And it's, look, hitters, we've all been there. And you have to figure out a way to not let your emotions get in the way of what you're doing. And don't let it bother you. Forget it, Ben. You did it. Who cares? Forget it. Go out and play. Drive in a couple runs later in this game. And that's the hardest thing because you care so much. but you got to find a way to do it.
It is kind of odd, Joe, because most hitters have a nervous tick where they touch the helmet.
Yes.
And it's supposed to be the top of the helmet challenge. And you can see Ben Rice, I think he was going to challenge and decided not to. And he touched the bill of the helmet. And the umpire said, that's a challenge.
I told you, you're going to have a replay. You're going to have a challenge on a challenge at some point here. I really believe that. Someone's going to say, replay it. I didn't do it.
And we showed some video earlier in the year. Thurman Munson used to touch his helmet after every single pitch. Every pitch. It was like a nervous habit where he would readjust his helmet. 2-2. 3-2.
Really good take there by Aaron Judge. That's not an easy pitch to take. Late movement. I tell you what, a lot of these Rays pitchers do a good job of pitching right-handers in to set other stuff up. Biggie does a really good job doing it. You're seeing Rasmus do it with his sinker because he throws so many cutters that go the other way that he's able to cover both sides of the plate and just really kind of, in a sense, tunnel those two pitches.
Strike 3. Judge down looking. Now let's check out the pitching decisions presented by Sage.
Well, you look at Drew Rasmussen. He's had it going on all day. He's got a very good changeup, but really his bread and butter is that sinker cutter. There's a really good sinker. There's a sinker that runs away to Ryan McMahon, and here's the cutter inside to Ben Rice. He's very efficient. There's a front hip sinker. This kid can pitch. Injuries have really derailed his career so far, but he's got outstanding stuff.
And what a bargain he is for the Rays. He's in the second season of a 2-year, $8.5 million extension.
I mean, it looks like a good pitch to Aaron Judge. It's like a perfect pitch. There's nothing you can do.
Popped up. And Taylor Walls makes the play as the Yankees go down in order. 8 in a row retired by Rasmussen. Well, Yankees hockey jersey night is back for 2026. Come out to Yankee Stadium on Friday, April 17th, when the Yankees take on the Royals. First 18,000 guests in attendance receive a Yankees hockey jersey courtesy of StubHub. Tickets going fast, so get yours today, Yankees.com. Richie Palacios leads off. Picked up an RBI ground out in the second.
Had a really good year last year. He hit .333, but he didn't play in a lot of games because he had a severe right knee sprain. Only had about 50 at bats. Another one of these Rays hitters that walks a lot and doesn't strike out.
He's from Brooklyn, attended Berkeley Carroll in Brooklyn, 27 years old, 4th big league season. Driven down the left field line, and that is a foul ball. So the Rays' intended second baseman is Gavin Lux. He's missing the start of the season with a right shoulder impingement, and he was actually pulled from a rehab game last night. He appeared to get hurt running to first base, so they are splitting Williamson and Palacios at second base.
Running to first base, he hurt his shoulder.
No, wasn't necessarily his shoulder. He got another injury.
Oh, I was going to say, how do you do that?
Richie had an older brother, Josh, played 5 years in the big leagues for the Blue Jays, National, Pirates, and the White Sox. His uncle Ray played 3 seasons with the Royals from 88 to 90.
I think Cam's going to have to incorporate his curveball a little bit more. And I know that hasn't been his pattern, up until this point this year, and he's been really successful. But this is a team that hits the fastball. And what they do is they foul off pitches until you make a mistake.
Palacios thought it was strike 3.
I think it was strike 3 too.
Ground ball, McMahon.
Yeah, we take a look at Cam's arsenal, and obviously he's got the 3 different types of fastballs, the 4-seamer, the sinker, and the cutter. But I've always liked his curveball, and I know he didn't have as much success on it last year as he would have liked, but I thought it got better as the year went on. And I think with big league hitters, you still have to change speeds a little bit. It's hard to argue with what he's done because it's worked. I'm just saying as the year goes on.
There's a curve right there. And that arsenal presented by StatCast 3D by Google Cloud. Wall singled, stole second, and scored in the second inning. Rays with a run in the first and 2 in the second. They lead 3-0. On the bottom of the 4th inning, Yankees trying to avoid a sweep on this mini 3-game road trip.
I compared him to Tyler Glasnow, a young Tyler Glasnow. I think he's actually got more weapons in the beginning of his career than Tyler had. Now, Tyler's added a number of them. He's an outstanding pitcher for the Dodgers. He was great with the Rays. But to me, that's my comp for him. And he's just going to get better and better.
Couldn't hold up. Wall's down on strikes. That's the 6th strikeout. 6th Yankee strikeout brought to you by your local tri-state Audi dealers.
Outstanding cutter up in the zone. He hit a cutter for his base hit in the second inning, but not this one. The elevation, I think the use of his curveball has got him some of the hitters in between right now, and he looks really good right now. Got to keep it right there, give the Yankees a chance to come back.
Here's Hunter Fiducia.
Michael, you know the riders all sit one level below us.
Yep.
It's some of the greatest seats I've ever seen at a ballpark. Have you ever been in there and just looked? They said they get plenty of foul balls because they're like one level below us. But if you're in the first row there, I mean, you should be getting Legends food. I mean, really.
I'll tell you one thing. This place gets derided by players and fans or whatever. It is a tremendous place to work.
Yes.
To broadcast, to write. The facilities are unbelievable. You get down to the clubhouse easily. They do a great job here. No complaints. That is a swing and a miss, tipped into the glove of Escara. So the Rays go down in order, and we go to the 5th. Cooking up something special with HexFlag. Join the hybrid revolution at hexflag.com. George Lombard Jr., he's hitting 7 games with a AA Somerset. Carlos Legrand, 9 pitches yesterday, over 102 miles an hour. Spencer Jones starting to hit a little bit. 16 RBIs with AAA, and that's 3rd in the minor leagues. Here's Chisholm against Rasmussen. Jumps on the first pitch and hits it sky high to right. Wow, was that up there? Fraley stumbles to make the play. Rasmussen's having something to say to Chisholm as he runs by. Remember, he did not like that Chisholm he thought was giving location.
Yeah, and if you're Jazz, you ignore it. Just run right on by. Yeah, if you get a chance, do it again. Get on second base and do it again.
He said, I'm sorry. Wow.
Maybe Caballero straightened him out. You know, he kind of straightened it out.
Well, you don't see that very often.
No. Pitchers don't apologize to hitters very often. Only if they hit them.
Well, he just had a second child. He's probably full of joy.
Well, if I would give him any advice, and I'm sure you can too. You had a little girl, you're done. They get you wrapped around your fingers as daddy girls, you're done. They definitely soften you up.
And they harden up your wife.
Yeah.
That was up the middle. Oh, what a play by Palacios. And he takes a base hit away from Grichuk. Oh, my. That was ticketed to center field. Just a brilliant play by Palacios.
That's when you know things are going bad. Whether it's you individually or as a team, you hit a rocket up the middle. Palacios is playing as far up the middle as he can. He dives. He's a long ways from first base, throws from his knees because he hit it so hard. It got to him so quickly. He had plenty of time. What a play by Palacios. So did his brother teach him that or his uncle?
Wow. I don't know if you can teach that. What a play. And as you said, Grichuk looking for his first hit. And he has one taken away. He's now 0 for 12, 0 for 2 today. Lascar is 0 for 10 on the season. 1-1.
Yeah, I mean, hits a full layout. Plenty of time. He understands it's hit so hard. Bounces it. Loves it. He was trying to tell Cedric Mullins how to get that ball over the fence yesterday.
Ground ball at first. The Yankees go down in order. 11 in a row retired. We're halfway through. Tampa Bay up by 3. It's time for How About That?
How about that?
Now, Chandler Simpson, fastest man in baseball. He once scored on a routine flyout to center field from second base in college. He appeared on the rap song Oxygen with Cardinals outfielder Victor Scott II, and he's a member of the Omega Psi-Phi Fraternity, Inc.
Victor Scott II can fly too. Interesting, Michael. Those two guys were on that same song.
Yeah. And here is Simpson again.
Guess you had to run really fast to get in that song.
Tries to bunt. Now, Simpson grew up watching a lot of Tony Gwynn videos, trying to emulate his hitting. Now, last year he got to meet Tony's son, Anthony Gwynn. Anthony loved meeting him, talked afterward about how serious he is about getting better, and also noted that he's not falling into that little man cliche of trying to drive the ball. Fly ball, run down by Grisham, and they retire Simpson.
I think you have to really try to pitch him up in the zone. And you flirt with not getting it high enough or getting it too high for a ball because you don't want to walk him because it's an instant double. But you got to get him to hit the ball in the air. Everything you can to hit the ball in the air.
Three 0 Rays, bottom of the 5th. Here's Junior Caminero. .45 home runs last year, the age of 21. Pretty amazing. How about this for a rare mistake by the Guardians organization? He was traded to Tampa Bay in November 2021 after his first pro season in rookie ball for Tobias Myers.
How do you know what a kid's going to be at 15 years old?
Yeah, you're right.
You don't. You talked about the 45 home runs. What was really impressive to me is when I looked at his spray chart, it was like there was a dot that started in the right field corner, and you just put dots, dots, dots all the way to the left field corner. It wasn't like he was pull power or right center to left center. It was line to line home run.
That one's popped up. Rice giving it a look near the Rays dugout, when it makes the dugout. We mentioned this on Friday. The only 21-year-old that has ever had more home runs in a season was the Milwaukee Braves great third baseman, Hall of Famer Eddie Matthews, who had 47 at the age of 21. So Junior had 45.
Pretty good company.
How about that combo of Matthews and Aaron?
Yeah, he's trying to tie him up with that sinker. He tied him up the last time and struck him out, and it really ran off the plate. And he tried to do it again, and he just got too much of the plate, and he was able to foul it off. And he's not a huge chase guy, Michael, and he's been walked a ton this year. Pitchers have recognized who he is. To be so disciplined at such a young age is also rare.
Ground ball. Caballero makes the play. Gets to his feet. Fires high. And backing up is Escara. It's probably going to be a base hit. That was a tough play. Caminero is at first.
Yeah, I believe he's safe even if he catches it. And Caminero got out of the box pretty quickly. He does not run well, but it's so far to the right of Caballero. That's tough, Caballero and Caminero. He doesn't really have a chance. And that just shows you the elite bat speed that he can get to that sinker inside at 96, 97 with no problem.
How about this, Joe, to wrap yourself in a warm blanket if you're a hitter? You know who texts Caminero most days about hitting?
No.
Albert Pujols. Oof. And Pujols tells him, just take your walks and stay patient.
Yeah, he's done a great job this year. His walk rate was over 20% when we came into this. And I think it's just the league knows who he is now, right? This guy's dangerous. Albert Pujols. When I talk about the best two young hitters that I saw when I was either coming up or playing, it was Pujols and Cabrera. Those were the two best young hitters that I saw. Albert would steal 15 bases a year and really couldn't run. He was just really, really smart. And I'll never forget Andy Pettit's expression when he was with Houston when Albert hit that home run in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, wow. Yeah, that's interesting because you're not worried about Caminero running here. Obviously, maybe he changed his thought process on the pitch. Maybe he wants to go back up with a four-seamer. Maybe they call the curveball.
And it's challenged by Aranda. Strike three challenged.
Previous pitch is a strike, and the batter has challenged.
ABS powered by T-Mobile. Let's see what they have. That's right.
Pitch is a ball. Tampa Bay has two challenges remaining.
So the Rays still have their two challenges. Yankees have one. Swing and a miss. So he strikes out for the third time. He has been overpowered, Joe, by Schlitman.
Yeah, he was 1 for 2 off of Cam coming into this, but it's been the same recipe. Fastballs up the zone that he's not able to catch up to. I have a better appreciation for umpires since this ABS system has, come into our league, because I thought that was a strike. And I thought, I got a pretty good eye watching it on TV, the screen. I got my contacts in. It's amazing how many times I've been wrong.
They have shown that they're much better than people give them credit for.
And I'm sure they don't like it, but I think in most instances they've done a really good job. I think it holds them more accountable.
I think the umpires that are being most affected by it are veteran umpires. And I've always felt, and this is something I push back against, veteran umpires felt that the strike zone was interpretive.
Yeah.
And I just don't think it is. A strike is a strike is a strike. Line drive and off the glove of Jazz Chisholm into center field. Looks like he mistimed his leap. So a base hit for Diaz.
And sometimes when you square a ball up like Diaz, it can knuckle. And you think that it's going to be on one plane, and it ends up being on another plane. And you're right, Michael. He just kind of overjumped it. I thought he thought it was going to be higher. But actually, no, he didn't. It went off the top of his glove. So I think he did everything he could to catch that.
Number 17, Jake Fraley.
Here's Fraley, first and second, 2 outs. Bottom of the 5th. 1-0. Throw to second, but back in time is Caminero.
Not great speed at second base, so if you're an outfielder and the ball's hit hard to you, have to come up throwing it home. I mean, these runs are becoming precious with the way Rasmussen's pitching. His pitch count is low. He's through 5 innings and only thrown 61 pitches.
Driven out to right field and deep. Richard back. He's there, and he makes the play in front of the track for the final out. No runs, 2 hits, and 2 men left. 5 in the books. 3-0 Rays.
It was a 5-run inning. They charged 8 runs against Max Scherzer in this one. Twins lead it 8-1 in the 4th. Jays headed possibly for their 8th loss in 10 games. Guys.
Well, thank you, Bob. We'll take a look around the majors as we move along this inning. Ryan McMahon will lead off. And there's a strike.
Do you know why Tatis started at second base?
Yeah, I do. Because they want to give people rest, and they wanted to give Bogarts a rest, so they moved Cronenworth from second to short, and they wanted Tatis to play second.
Didn't affect his hitting. He had 3 hits last night.
What I don't get, Joe, he was a shortstop, so you could keep Cronenworth at second and just play Tatis at short if you want to give Bogarts a day off.
I think you consider shortstop a more premium position and being in control of the infield, and it's been a while since he's been in the infield. Probably didn't want to put that pressure on. They were worried about his offense.
And the manager, Salmon, said because he's struggling, playing second base is going to be good. He'll be thinking about playing second base. He will not be thinking about struggling. And as you said, he got 3 hits.
I always thought it went the other way around. Now you're worrying about everything.
Right.
The one thing about the Rays today is their bullpen has been used pretty hard. They're back 4 people. They're back 3 right-handers, and their top left-hander probably aren't available today. So if they could put some long innings on Rasmussen.
One down by Mullins.
They might be able to get to the bullpen.
The shortstop, Jose Caballero.
Here's Jose Caballero. Rasmussen was held at 150 innings last year. Probably go over that this season.
I mentioned it earlier. He only went over 90 pitches twice last year.
Yeah, they have to be very careful. Can you think about, Joe? I mean, Tommy John surgery essentially 3 times. So 2 times in college. Then he had the brace, which is a form of Tommy John surgery 3 times.
And he's dealing and still throwing 97 miles an hour.
I mean, you do wonder. I mean, it's such angst and stress hearing it one time to go through that long, arduous rehab, and then to hear it 3 times.
Well, 3rd time's a charm, isn't it?
Yeah, it looks like it is.
They said he's a fantastic worker. He keeps everything simple. His mechanics are flawless. So you wonder why he got hurt before. It could have just been the velocity of his arm.
It is interesting because, you know, when you have perfect mechanics, you don't expect to get hurt. But who has perfect mechanics? Garrett Cole. And he ended up getting hurt. But I think that was just more of all that year.
Correct.
Years of pitching.
All those years. That's right.
Well, there are guys that throw across the body and things like that, and they don't get hurt. But then, I don't know if there's any rhyme or reason is what I'm trying to say.
I don't think so. I think it's your body. I think it's the innings. I think it's how hard you throw. It's just a combination of everything.
Swing and a miss. Time for today's injury report, brought to you by Montefiore Einstein, the official hospital of the New York Yankees. Anthony Volpe scheduled to begin a rehab assignment on Tuesday with AA Somerset, so he'll be flying back with the Yankees. You know, he's going to feel great being on the plane with his teammates, and he's expected to take 55 at-bats before activation. That's about a spring training.
Yeah. And I think it's building up his body and making sure that he feels comfortable with the swing. But I will say, rehabs can get sped up based on
the
need.
ball. The catcher has challenged.
So that's called the ball. It's going to be challenged, activated by T-Mobile. And it was a ball.
The pitch is a ball. Tampa Bay has 1 challenge remaining.
So now each team has 1 challenge remaining.
Interesting challenge. Nobody on. 2 outs.
Yeah,
First
1
pitch.
Yeah.
I think it's just a bad read on his part. But, so, I mean, I think about, like, if one of the infielders was to go down and pray that it doesn't happen, where do they go? Right? And that could speed up a rehab assignment, even though you don't want to. And I know Brian doesn't, because I know Brian wants to get him right, make sure he feels comfortable. But that's the one thing about rehabs, that sometimes they can be sped up based on need.
I guess you'd have to, if it was early in the rehab, you'd have to go with Cabrera.
Yes, yeah. Then you don't, I mean, he is a shortstop. But
Yep. 1-2. Swing and a miss. 14 retired in a row by Rasmussen. Yankees baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by Citizens. Make sense of your money with Citizens. By your local Tri-State Genesis retailers. Learn more at Genesis.com. And by Mohegan Sun, beyond your wildest.
Michael, I just got some good news.
What's that?
The Rays have someone up in the pen.
And the Yankees have a new pitcher, Ryan Yarbrough. Right now it's Cole Sulser.
Yeah, Rasmussen's only at 76 pitches, but maybe not throwing for 10 days because of the birth of his baby girl. They're being a little bit cautious. I'm thinking he's well rested. Yarbrough threw a couple scoreless innings on Friday night. Gave up a hit, a couple walks.
5 innings of 8 strikeouts and 1 walk for Schlittler, but he allowed the 3 runs. still 2-2 on Mullins. Mullins tripled against Schlittler and scored in the second inning, and then a fly ball to left in the third. Right field. Richard comes on. Richard makes the play. Let's check out the Yankees bullpen budget brought to you by Citizens. Make sense of your money with Citizens. I would think everyone be available today. They used Bednar, Cruz, and Hill for one pitch last night.
Hedrick would be the only guy that I would think that maybe isn't. It'd be 4 out of 6.
Is that the hardest part of managing, the bullpen?
Yes, and I think a lot of times the two hardest people to manage, and I'm not sure which one is harder, is the long man and the closer. Because a closer you never want to use unless it's like a closing situation, but there's sometimes 4 or 5 days they don't go without work, and you don't know if you're going to need them in the next 2 days. So it's, and then the long guy, you always want to keep yourself covered. The Yankees are fortunate that they have 2. And it helps them because they can deploy one and still have another, where a lot of teams don't carry 2 long guys. Maybe 2 multiple inning guys or 3 multiple inning guys, but not 2 long guys. But yes, it is the hardest part of the game to manage.
Remember something Don Mattingly once told me when he was managing? He said, it's the hardest. He said, because you can make the right decision, bring in the right guy, and it doesn't work out. He goes, and all the thought process going into it was right. He said, it's on you. It's not on the pitcher that didn't get the out. It's on you. You made the mistake. He said, but you have to live with it. That's part of the rules of engagement.
There's a lot of parts of management, being in management, that you don't always want to live with, but you have to. I mean, you take that job and you understand it's your responsibility. Like when a team doesn't hit, it gets blamed on the manager and the hitting coach. Not one of them is taking an at-bat. Sometimes it's just the way it goes. I mean, there's a reason you make the decision. It's well thought out. It's planned out. But there's a human side to it.
Strike 3. Palacios down looking, 2 away. Time to name that Yankee. Brought to you by Prevagen, made for your brain. Considered a 7, 226 average, 200 hits, 43 home runs. A Yankee from 7 through 09. Then with Cleveland and finished with the Rays. Again, that has catcher vibes to it. No?
I don't think so.
So backup infielder vibes? So you know this one.
I think. What do you think?
Lined into right field. It's a base hit for Walls.
This guy. On base 2 times again. On base 4 of 8 to start the series. He's got bunt base hits. He scored runs. He's got RBIs. He's done everything. And then he made an error, which he never does, on a throw from the catcher to him, and he just missed it.
So you just guessed something and you held up the card with the name on it. Was that guy on your 09 championship team?
I don't necessarily think that he was there during the playoffs, but I
might
think,
have been.
Yeah. And I think there's a relation between the Rays as well.
Okay. Nick Fortes is going to pinch hit for Fiducia, and that brings out Matt Blake to go over the scouting report with Yarbrough. Jake Bird is up. Saw him stretching earlier. Yankees in the middle of 13 in a row. They don't have an off day until next Monday. And we mentioned Cortez is pinch hitting for Fiducia. Walls can run. He leads off first, held by Rice.
A little surprised by this, Michael, because I don't see a third catcher on the roster. You're winning. It's different if you're losing the game. There's 2 outs and only a runner on first.
I thought the same thing.
And Kevin, you're a great manager. I'm not questioning your managing skills, but I would be nervous to do this.
Because you have 3 innings. If somebody gets hurt, if Cortez gets hurt, I guess they have an emergency catcher. But do you want to do that in the game that's not a blowout?
And who would be that emergency catcher? I think Williamson's built most like a catcher.
I don't think it's DeLuca. Hit sharply on one hop, grabbed there by Caballero. And that will do it as Walls was going. No runs a hit. 1 man left. We go to the 7th. 3-0 Rays.
Leading off the 7th inning for the Yankees.
Well, tomorrow on Yes, the Yankees kick off a 4-game set with Mike Trout and the Angels back in the Bronx. Tune in beginning at 5 for extended coverage starting with the new shows Yankees Rewind and Yankees Lineup presented by CarShield. Then it's Audi batting practice and the FanDuel pregame leading up to first pitch at 7:05 on Yes and the Gotham Sports app. So Cole Sulser takes over for Rasmussen and the Yankees breathe a sigh of relief. They could not do much against Rasmussen.
6 innings pitched, 1 hit, 7 strikeouts, no walks.
Part of the order for the Yanks, Rice, Judge, and Bellinger, 2, 3, and 4. One hit, the double by Chisholm, that's it. No other base runner. Yankees got 1 hit on the final game against the A's as well. And that was a Ben Rice single through the right side of the infield.
Good take by Ben Rice. Sulser has an outstanding changeup. He's not overpowering. It's got late depth to it. You're only going to see 92.
High drive, right center field. On the run, Fraley. Turning, looking, see ya. A home run for Rice. Yankees on the board. It's 3-1 Rays.
Got himself in a good count, a 2-1 count, and spit on a couple change-ups. And ends up driving this ball to the right center gap for his 5th home run of the year. Obviously, another hard-hit ball. And the Yankees have to breathe somewhat of a sigh of relief. And this might be a crew check to see if someone reached over to grab it.
Kevin Cash came out and spoke with Dan Bellino. And now Bellino's going to talk with Ripperger. And we'll take a look.
The ruling on the field is a home run. This will be a crew chief review of a potential fan interference. The previous play is under review.
Oh, it went between the fence and the padding. That should be a double.
Yeah.
That's not supposed to happen.
Wow. That's not a home run.
It's kind of the way it's going for the Yankees right now.
Amazing. No interference. Guy moved his hand.
After review, the ruling on the field is overturned. It is a ground rule double. The batter will go to second base.
So it is a ground rule double.
The other thing that's going to have to be adjusted, Michael, is it was measured at 399 feet, and that's not true anymore either.
It says 382 right there.
And that's without your glasses are on.
And here comes Kyle Snyder.
Well, their back-end relievers, Baker, Jackson, and Biggie, have worked the last 2 days, as well as Seymour. So they're really going to their second tier, and that's why I thought they might let Rasmussen go at least another inning. You know what that was, Michael, right there?
What's that?
That was Dartmouth on Dartmouth crime.
You hate to see that.
Yeah. Ben Rice, Dartmouth. Cole Sulzer, Dartmouth.
So Rice gets his 5th home run taken away, but he gets a double. Nice play there by Fortes, who takes over behind the plate for Fiducia.
Can't blame Sulzer for being a little gun shy about throwing the fastball into Aaron Judge, and this is just a pulled heater. I thought he broke his glove because he's got that little white part on the back of his glove. I thought that was the ball.
There's Kelly. We saw him last night.
Boy, that's textbook blocking right there. You're taught to steer it right back towards home plate, and that's what Fortes did with his right shoulder a little bit. Makes it really hard for the base runner to advantage. You see him kind of turn. We used to call them flippers. Your shoulder's like on a pinball machine. Steer it towards home plate.
2-2. Runner at second. Boy, Fortes really putting in work. Count full.
Yeah, he was supposed to have the day off today. So much for that.
And he works the walk. Let's check out one of today's player props brought to you by Bet365, where winning is everything. Cody Bellinger's coming up. If he's going to hit 1 or more home runs, it's plus 900. And if he hits a home run, it's a 3-3 game. Another one in the dirt.
Sometimes when a starter leaves the game, there's just a big sigh of relief for your offense, because the Yankees were not really able to muster anything up against Rasmussen. A few hard hit balls, but only 1 hit.
Up the middle and through for a base hit. Rice rounds third. He'll score. Judge stops at second. It's an RBI single for Bellinger. Yankees on the board. 3-1 Rays.
Cody Bellinger's just doing what he does, situational hitting, and hits this hard line drive up the middle through the hole, and the Yankees are in business now. The go-ahead run is at the plate. Done a good job. Ben Rice knows he has to freeze to make sure it's not caught. He's got plenty of time to score. Aaron Judge thought about going to third base, but Mullins got to it fairly quickly.
Josh Chisholm takes outside 1-0. Yankee offense stirred in the late innings yesterday. Shut down for the first 6 today.
Michael, even on all these games they've lost, they've had a chance late in the game. They've had runners on, and it's really coming through. So far in this series, before that hit, they were 2 for 16 with runners in scoring position.
Slow roller. Sulzer will get Jazz. Judge moves to third, Bellinger to second. Now they're calling Grichuk back. And they're going to send up Stanton. So Stanton, starting in 2024, turned into a very good pinch hitter. 6 for 14 in that time. From 2010 to 2023, he was 3 for 41 as a pinch hitter. And Kevin Cash is going to take the ball from Sulser. He's going to call in Kelly. Kelly against Stanton, tying runs on base. 2 nights, 1 wild show. Banana Ball is coming to New York City. Yankee Stadium will host the Savannah Bananas on Saturday, April 25th, Sunday, April 26th. Limited ticket inventory in premium seat locations is on sale now, so visit Yankees.com/bananas to secure your seats today. Kelly against the pinch hitter Stanton. This matchup we saw yesterday, Joe.
Bases loaded in the 5th inning. He ended up striking him out on a 3-2 pitch. Stanton saw him last night. Quick turnaround, has a better idea what his stuff does. Sidearm, sweep and sink. Not overpowering, not a high walk rate, not a high K rate. Put it in play through the middle of the infield, you're getting at least 1 run.
Judge at third, Bellinger at second. Ground ball. Palacios. Scoring is Judge, moving to third, Bellinger. Yankees have cut the deficit to 1.
I've been so impressed with his at-bats the last 2 years, how he hits the situations and understands what he needs to do. Really impressed. Had to get a run in there. Now you're only down 1, and this game just got interesting.
Well, they're going to pull J.C. Escarra back to the dugout, and they will send Austin Wells up to the plate to pinch hit. Yesterday, Wells got his first home run.
Yeah, a long home run to right field off of Griffin Jackson. Then he hit another ball hard. He got nothing to show for it to the second baseman, but looked really good at the plate yesterday, and this would be another big hit for the Yankees if he could come up with it.
Hitting for Escarra, number 28, Austin Wells.
So that leaves Rosario and Goldschmidt on the bench for the Yankees, 2 right-handed hitters.
And the question is, does Stanton go to right or does Rosario go to right? That's the question. And if Rosario goes, they got 1 guy left.
Or do they take the DH out and have the Judge go to right?
They could do that.
Or they could have Caballero play the outfield and have Rosario play short.
Yeah. They can do a lot of different things.
Or McMahon to short. A lot of things he could do. Line to left field. He hit it well, and it's caught by Simpson for the final out. But the Yankees get 2 runs on 2 hits, 1 man left. At the end of 6½, it's the Rays 3, the Yankees 2, but we'll stay right here as they honor America in Tampa.
Ladies and gentlemen, we ask at this time that you please rise, remove your caps, and join Katie Lombardo for our performance of God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love, stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above, from the mountains to the prairies to the ocean wide with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Time for your Ford Studio Update. Bob and Jack with you. Late life for the Yanks there. They got to tap into more of it somehow.
Bob, after Drew Rasmussen shut the Yankees down on 1 hit through 6 innings, that top of the 7th felt like a breath of fresh air for the Yankees. 6 at-bats, 5 of them were quality, 4 of them had successful results. As you said, the Yankees have 2 more innings to try and mount some more offense, grab this game from the Rays.
See if they can get over the top. We'll recap all of it coming up on the WB Mason postgame. Look forward to seeing you then. Fellas, back to you.
Thank you, guys. 3-8-0 for Tampa Bay, 2-3-0 for the Yanks. Cam Slittler, 8 strikeouts, 1 walk in 5 innings. Bellinger, an RBI single. Rasmussen was great. Chandler Simpson has made a difference again. All right, so Rosario does take over in right field. And Wells pinch hit for Escobar. He takes over behind the plate. Yarborough in for a 2nd inning of work.
Because of his speed, the middle infielders play like it's double play depth. And the corners are in for a bunt. You don't have to hit it that hard to get it by him because there's so many open spaces.
You know, Joe, sometimes what goes unsaid or unnoticed is how games in baseball are interconnected. So the Rays really had to use all of their bullpen for 2 days. And it leaves them a little bit short today. It's going to be very interesting to see. That one's driven deep to right field by Chandler Simpson, and that ball is 1 hop off the wall. That'll be a triple for sure. And he's going to get there with a head-first slide. 3 hits for Simpson. Came in leading the American League in hitting. It's only going up.
Well, he's listening to the right guy, Tony Gwynn, as he was watching him his whole career. And the thing that he's done is, it doesn't really matter. He's hit left-handers in his career, no power, and he's hit them this year over 300 as well. And once it gets by any outfielder, it's a triple. I don't care where it's at, unless he falls down. And now you play the infield in, and it's still tough to get him.
Well, here comes Boone. He's going to take the ball from Yarborough. And that's the Omega Phi symbol as he gets the triple. That's it for Yarborough, and they are going to call on Camilo Doval. They need to strike out with a runner on 3rd, nobody out. Stay tuned. It's time for the Optimum Fiber famously fast replay.
Oh, he's real fast, Michael, and you see him hit this ball down the right field corner. The question is not if it's a triple. The question is if it's his 2nd inside park home run of his career. I mean, he didn't even have to slide. You know who I used to love to watch run when he hit balls like that? It was my favorite guy of all time, Deion Sanders. Yeah. He hit an inside park home run off us one time in Mile High Stadium. And, Michael, I think he could have got back to 2nd base.
This series, he's 5 for 10. The Yankees have been unable to do much with him. Now the Yankees bring the infield in. Caminero at the plate against Camilo Doval. He pitched on Friday. Fouled away.
Michael, I'm not even sure if Jazz Chisholm's close enough.
You're right.
And I know he's on the grass, but I'm not sure he's close enough.
Well, that should get a run in if it's caught. Bellinger is there. Makes the catch. No chance. Sack fly. Simpson. Head first slide across home plate. And now it's 4-2 Tampa Bay.
Yeah, the one thing that another thing that the Yankees have struggled so far in this series, right? They've had a hard time keeping Simpson off the bases, Walls off the bases. They've had a hard time hitting with runners in scoring position. But they are 1 of 6 on shutdown innings, and that kills a team. You think about they had the 2-0 lead in the first game in the first inning. They gave up 2. They were 1 strike away from getting out the inning. 1 of 6, and those are so important in baseball.
It kind of takes a starch of what you just did.
Yes. Well, they're just going to have to work a little harder now.
You know, what I was saying before Boone made the pitching change, that Kevin Cash really used his bullpen on Friday and Saturday to get those wins. And it's going to be interesting to see how he navigates getting these final 6 outs.
Yeah, it's going to be really difficult. I'm sure he's going to try to run through Kelly as long as he can. He's a multiple inning guy.
Popped up. McMahon drifts back. Is there. Out number 2. And, you know, we were talking between innings. You got to get the wins when you can get them. You can't really worry about today because you don't know how today's going to play out.
They got a long guy in Yoendris Gomez. They also have Joe Rock, a lefty that they called up. I don't know how much trust they have in him, but I was telling you in between innings, I used to call it making my bed. You know, when you go for it in 2 days like they have, you've made your bed for the 3rd day, but you got to live with it. It's when it doesn't work out that it's hard.
Now they don't have Rock now.
No, they don't.
They sent Rock down to make room for Rasmussen off the paternity list.
I just can't keep my Rock straight.
I also checked between innings with all the Rays broadcasters. No one knows who the emergency catcher is.
It's Kevin Cash.
Well, he can catch.
He can catch. Not sure how he'd feel the next day.
Two and one.
Find your shin guards, Kevin. My guess is he doesn't have a glove broken in either.
Hey, Vic, are you fine right now?
Two on Diaz. Diaz 1 for 2, a ribby and a walk. Hit sharply right at Caballero, knocks him down. It was hit so hard, and that'll do it. But the triple by Simpson comes back to bite him. He comes around to score on the sac fly. We go to the 8th. Yankees down by 2. We go to the 8th inning. Hyundai scoreboard 4-2 Tampa Bay. Rays with 9 hits, Yankees with 3. And here's Kevin Kelly in for his first full inning of work. Got out of the 7th. And he deals a strike to McMahon. McMahon's 0 for 2 and 3 for 33 in the early going. He's yet to find an extra base hit. One and 2. McMahon, Caballero, and Grisham. One man left on the bench. That's Paul Goldschmidt. Guy the other way. Out of play. So Kelly has a 5.15 strikeout to walk ratio since 2024, and that's the second best among American League relievers with 100 or more innings pitched. Cade Smith is slightly better, 5.56 strikeout to walk.
I know we think so much about power and strikeout ability in relievers. This is not a power guy. This is a deception guy. The bullpen guys who throw strikes are really important too, because you never see them the second and third time. So you're not getting a good look at their stuff. You know, you might see him twice in this series and you won't see him for 2 months. And you forget.
So McMahon's worked the count full. Ground ball up the middle. And past the diving Palacios. Into right center. A base hit for McMahon. The lead off the 8th.
I say good for him. He put on a long at bat, fouled off a number of tough pitches. We've seen Palacios make great plays already today. He's not able to get this one. This one goes under his glove. And now they have the tying run to the plate again.
Caballero got 2 big late inning hits yesterday in the Yankee extra inning loss. He's up now. And a strike. And he's going to challenge.
The previous pitch is a strike, and the batter has challenged.
Powered by T-Mobile. And you were right, and he
the
was
ball.
right.
New York retains 1 challenge.
Grounded to third. There's 1. And there's 2. And around the horn, 5-4-3 double play.
That sidearm fastball of his has sink. And Caballero just beat in the ground. He hit it hard. The perfect double play ball. 1 hop to the third baseman. Not a great throw by Palacios, but it was hit so hard, it becomes an easy double play. Now Grish's got to find a way to get up in front of Rice.
Grisham 0 for 3 today. 6 for 44. And there's a ground ball to Walls. Backs up, fires, and the Yankees go down in the 8th without scoring a run. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Yankees down by 2. Well, it's time to name that Yankee. Here are the clues. Paul, do you have any idea, Joe?
Yes, I do. Shelley Duncan.
It is Shelley Duncan, the Yankees AAA manager at School Wilkes-Barre.
Saw him in spring training. He looked great.
He burst upon the scene with some power. And now getting the next era of Yankee stars ready.
Yeah. What I remember in the tie to the Rays was not him playing for the Rays. It was the slide, the takeout slide in spring training after Cervelli got hurt.
That's a base hit off the bat of Fraley against Brett Hedrick. Second round pick by the Yankees in 01. The numbers with the Yankees. We mentioned the current manager of the Yankees AAA affiliate.
His father was a catcher, but a long-time pitching coach for the Cardinals, for Tony La Russa. Got to watch out for the bunt here, and I would think he'd be bunting for a base hit. He'd like to add to this lead.
And it's a beautiful bunt. McMahon fields and makes the play to get Mullins. But the runner moves up, and the sacrifice successful, 5-3.
Good job by Mullins, just getting this down, understanding that he's got a chance to get a hit if he puts a good bunt down. McMahon does a really good job of starting in and charging this ball really hard. If Hedrick fields that ball, it's a base hit. So he had to call him off. Good play. And now they're going to have a pinch hitter here, Michael.
And it is going to be Ben Williamson pinch hitting for Palacios. Well, you see Brent Hedrick on the mound, and he has certainly strongly entered Aaron Boone's circle of trust. They've used him a lot early, and he deals inside to the pinch hitter Williamson.
This is his 10th game of the year. days off have helped make him more available.
A base hit. Right field charging Rosario. And they will hold Fraley at third. So pinch hit single for Williamson. Well, congratulations to Ahmed Rosario on being voted the Montefiore Einstein Player of the Week. Remember, he had that 2-home-run game, 294, 2 home runs, 5 ribbies, an OPS of 1.133.
So, Michael, I think they're going to talk about the safety squeeze here. We've seen the Rays bunt a number of times yesterday in these types of situations. So what we would always try to do is the sign would come from the bench and you weren't able to throw over on your own, and you would give the sign to the first baseman whether we were thrown over or not. And if you're not, you can be much more aggressive charging, knowing that there's no way he's coming to first base, because this is the perfect time to do it. A left-handed pitcher who falls off to the third base side, first and third, and you can push it to first because the first baseman has to hold the runner on. So if you're Ben Rice, you have to know when he's coming over to first and when he's not, and you have to be really aggressive coming in. And Jazz has got to make sure that he can get to first if there's going to be a play at first base.
And that would be tough because he's playing up the middle. It'd be hard for him to get to first. Walls has really been an irritant to the Yankees in this series. He's 2 for 3 today. We mentioned earlier, since 2022, the worst average hitter in the majors at 193. He throws over him. Watching Walls, he did not run the hands up. He did not betray whether or not he was going to bunt.
He came into this series hitting 100. He was 1 for 10. Well, he sure changed that around. He's at 333 right now. If you're Ben Rice, you got to break hard if he's not thrown over.
And there's a bunt. Safety squeeze. They come home with it. No chance. Beautifully executed. And Tampa Bay gets another run. They're up 5-2.
The other problem is there's nobody at first base to get the out. I mean, it's either it's becoming an RBI and a base hit instead of maybe just an RBI. You can see Jazz doesn't even attempt to come over.
And we mentioned before the play, it was just too much distance for Jazz to cover it. You're going to play him up the middle. There's no way he's going to be able to cover first. So Walls picks up his third hit. That's a big run going into the 9th inning. The Rays now lead by 3. Ground ball is short. There's one. And there's 2 with the backhanded scoop by Rice. 1 run, 3 hits, and 1 man left. Last licks coming up for the Yanks. Hyundai dealer. And by the New York Lottery, this could be your lucky play. The Yankees have 3 more outs to try to avoid a sweep and avoid their 5th straight loss. Ben Rice on the double in the 7th inning. Exit velocity presented by Spectrum, 106.4. Thought it was a home run at first. It was scored a home run. He ran around the bases. The umpire signaled home run, but upon further review, it got stuck in the padding, and it was a double. And he's going to lead off against the new pitcher, Mason Engler.
A lot of change-ups, about 32%, and he'll throw 3 different fastballs, an occasional curveball. He starts him with 1. Smart. Don't show your best pitch early on if you can get strike 1.
Rice, Judge, and Bellinger. Yankees have the people they want coming up. They have a 3-run deficit here in the 9th inning. In this 3-game set, the Rays have put on a master class in terms of small ball. Putting the ball in play when they need to, using their speed, bunts. They've used everything in their toolbox to win the first 2. And there's a base hit. Past Williamson, a single for Rice's second hit of the afternoon. Well, after the final, I'll get highlights, analysis, clubhouse interviews, and we'll hear from the manager. Plus, a look ahead to the series with the Angels, all coming up on the W.B. Mason Yankees postgame.
Yeah, they also added on a run in the 7th, Michael, a run in the 8th, to go from 3-2 to 5-2, and think how much different this at bat would be if it was still 3-2.
Oh, 0-1. Big cut, quickly 0-2.
Yeah, a sinker inside to him, and then the changeup. The sinker for the strike. The changeup bottoms out and falls out of the zone. He swings over the top of it. But they look identical.
One and two. Two and two. Yankees trying to rally here in the 9th. On deck is Cody Bellinger. Judge 0 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. Rice leads off first, held by Aranda. Foul ball in front of the plate. Caminero deep at third, very close to the line, guarding against the extra base hit. Three and two.
You know, we were talking about Judge's walks the other day, that he didn't have money. 3 in the last 2 days, 2 yesterday, 1 today. He's on the verge of another one.
And Englert steps off. Payoff. Back foul.
Interesting in that situation, Michael, he went to his 3rd best pitch. And it's probably because Judge has spit on those changeups that are down in the zone. And he wanted to give him a different look.
High drive. Right center field. Fraley back. On the track. At the wall. And that one is gone. A 2-run home run the other way for Judge. His 4th of the year, and the Yankees pull to within 1.
That's the Aaron Judge that we all know and love. Long at bats, getting in good counts, driving the ball to right center. His 4th home run of the year. He got a 1-run game, Michael. Is not used to closing.
Well, we mentioned this earlier, Joe. They use all their high leverage guys in the first 2 games. You don't want to go 3 days in a row, so they're trying with Englert.
Yeah, this is a sinker that's about belt high, and he crushes belt high fastballs. and he stays inside of it. He was thinking right center with the fastball, and then he was thinking pull the changeup, and he got the fastball and drove it out of here. And you're right, Michael, they used all their high leverage. They won 2 games. You know, if you win every series of the year, you're going to win at least 100 games, and you're going to go a long ways. But it becomes a little tougher to win that 3rd game. I was thinking, did it go between the fence and the padding again? But that's Aaron Judge.
Here's Cody Bellinger. He's the tying run at the plate. Still nobody out here in the 9th. And a strike. Crowd of 20,796. Seems like most of them are Yankee fans. That's been the case all weekend. The 0-1. 1-1. Once again, a 1-run game for the Yankees. 5 of their 6 losses have come by 1 run. The other one by 2. They have Yoendris Gomez warming in the bullpen. Swing and a miss, and Bellinger down on strikes.
Really good changeup here, and the problem for Cody is he got behind in the count, and he ends up chasing this, and that's not something Cody does a ton. When he chases, he usually makes contact, but that one was just too low. Jazz got to make him get the ball up. Tell yourself, get the ball up, because the changeup that starts up is probably going to end up about knee high or below.
Ground ball right side. Williamson fields, fires to first. Got him. What a play by Williamson, taking a base hit away from Chisholm.
2 different second basemen today. You had Palacios rob Grichuk of a base hit, and now Williamson robs Chisholm of a base hit. And if he doesn't, I'm sure Jazz is probably on the move, going to get in scoring position. They played really good defense, and they have not played such good defense all year long, but today it's been spectacular. Jazz thinks he's got a chance, and head first slide. I'm not so sure it's always quicker, but I love the effort.
So now it comes down to Rosario. Took over in right field after Stanton pinch hit for Grichuk. Yankees have their bullpen up just in case there's a bottom of the 9th. Driven into center field and deep. Mullins back, still back on the track, leaps, and he dropped the ball. He dropped the ball. And Rosario's at second with a double.
Yeah, that one hit right at you, Mike, was the hardest one to judge, and he got turned around a little bit, and he's made some outstanding catches all year long, but not this one. I don't even know if he gets a glove on it. No, he doesn't. Over his head. Now you'll get a little bit more action out of the bullpen. They both have to get going because home run here. Bednar's in. If they tie it up, it looks like it will be Tim Hill.
Here's Wells. Wells pinch hit for Escara in the 7th inning and lined it sharply to left field, but it's caught by Simpson. So now the tying runs at second base. That's called the ball. And they are going to intentionally walk Wells after ball 1, and they will go after Ryan McMahon. So Kevin Cash unconcerned about putting the go-ahead run at first base. He wants this matchup with McMahon.
Well, this could be a big moment for Ryan. This could turn his whole season around. And see Goldie on the bench.
So Fortes having a talk with Englert. And it comes down to this. Rosario is at second. Wells at first. 2 men out. 2 runs in here in the ninth. It's 5-4 Rays. Yankees trying to avoid a sweep. Ryan McMahon 1 for 3 today. And he's 4 for 34 on the season. No extra base hits. Ground ball, first base. Aranda to the bag. And the Rays sweep the Yankees in a 3-game set. They win this one by a score of 5-4 as the Yankees lead 2 runners on in the ninth.
Yeah, again, they just aren't able to come up with the big hit when they need it, and you needed it from Ryan McMahon there. And the other thing is shutdown innings have been a problem here in Tampa. They were 1 of 6, and you got to compliment the way the Rays play. Their speed was great, their defense was great today, and their bullpen was really good.
Yankees have now lost 5 in a row. The last 2 at the stadium against the A's, and now these 3 against the Rays. We'll come back, talk some more, and then the postgame after that. Before we take a look at the game-changing drive of the game brought to you by Audi and the all-new Audi Q3.
Well, it's a little small ball from Taylor Walls in the 8th inning, a perfectly executed safety squeeze to put them up 5-2, and they would need that extra run as Aaron Judge hit a 2-run homer in the 9th inning, and Walls was a problem all series long.
All right, Joe, it's time for the Chevy player of the game.
Well, Drew Rasmussen drew up a gem for his new baby girl. 6 innings, 1 hit. No walks and 7 strikeouts, and he was really, really efficient. He had everything working. His cutter, his 4-seamer, his sinker, and his changeup. I'm sure he'll give that ball to his new baby girl.
Gets the win. Englert, the first save. Schlittler, his first loss. 5-11-0, beating 4-7-0. Took 2 hours and 32 minutes. Yankees 0-6 now in 1-run games this season. Coming up on the Yes Network, stay tuned for the W.B. Mason postgame show with Bob Lorenz and Jack Curry. Special thanks to producer Troy Benjamin, director Dan Barr, Mike Webb, and the executive producer of the Yes Network is Mr. Jared Ames Boschnack. Join us again tomorrow as the Yankees return to the Bronx for a 4-game series against the Angels. Coverage will begin at 5 p.m. on Yes, with first pitch coming shortly after 7. Once again, the final score of the Tampa Bay Rays 5 and the New York Yankees 4. For Joe Girardi and Meredith Morakovitz, I'm Michael Kay, saying see ya from Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, Florida. Now, let's go to Bob Lorenz and Jack Curry, standing by in our studios.